So it's a game you're interested in. I found something for you to dote on.
Alright, howdy y'all. Outlaws of Thunder Junction, complete set review, the multicolor section. This is a big one, folks. Biggest section in the entire set. There are a lot of multicolored cards here to go over. A lot of your favorite villains are hanging out, and some you don't even know exist, I guess. And a lot of cards to go over. Obviously, we're doing all the cards, constructed and limited. We did white, blue, black, red, and green, all on YouTube. Go watch there. If you're watching on YouTube, take a second, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the button, support the content. If you like what I do and all the work I put into what I do, and you want to, give me the tiniest sliver of satisfaction, hit the like button. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. So, we're ready to roll here. Again, doing this whole set review. We got 10 new brews coming on Wednesday, which is super fun. Also, 11 a.m. 10 new brews. Should be great on the early access stream, which should be really, really fun. We got Bronze Mythic happening as well. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Sorry about the date there. 9 p.m. on Tuesday. That's going to be great. Also, I leave for a Pro Tour. In buttons now. Pro Tour. Seattle's going to be in a few weeks. I got Command Fest Dallas coming up also. There are still tickets available. Saturday's sold out, but the 3 days are still available. Check it out, Command Fest Dallas. Hopefully I'll see you there. Ridiculous lineup of content creators, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But aside from all that, let's freaking just get to it, right? Yee-haw! Let's do our thing. So, first up, we got Akul the Unrepentant. This is a Rakdos wannabe, black, red, for a 5/5 flying trample scorpion dragon rogue. So, hard to cast, but pretty good stats. Sack 3 other creatures. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield only as a sorcery and only once a turn. So, that's kind of weird, right? Like, I feel like as far as cheating in big creatures, black reanimates and red sneak attacks. I feel like just putting it in from your hand is more of like a green thing, but whatever. Sack 3 is a lot. And, there's obviously good things to put in like a track set, so on and so forth, but like, it's like not that exciting in your black, red deck. So, I mean, it's a reasonable card, obviously. Sizing is fine. But for constructed purposes, like, I just don't think you can make that ability that useful. And the sizing isn't enough to make this card reasonable either. So, obviously a Bombin limited, just an absolute monster. It's huge. But for constructed, I think this card falls a little short. Kind of a weird character too, with freaking scorpion, crabby hands and stuff, but whatever. Moving on to Annie Flash, the veteran. So fast. Naya 6-drop 4/5 human rogue with Flash, thankfully. When it ETBs, if you cast it, return target permanent card mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Little Sun Titan shades there. Whenever it becomes tapped, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. This is obviously a great limited card, right? It's doing a lot of good things. Being able to return stuff is great. Drawing cards is great. Flash is great. Ambush attackers and so on and so forth. But beyond limited, like, this card isn't doing anything better than other cards already do. If you want to draw cards, better ways to do it. You want to return things, play Sun Titan. So, like, this is the kind of card where, like, it's a mythic, but, like, mostly for limited, it feels like, honestly. It's just a weird card. That's kind of what it is. I think this card's virtually unplayable and constructed. And then in limited, the card's great. And, thankfully, it's mythic. Annie Joins Up. However, Annie Joins Up is my sleeper card for the multicolored section here. And this card is pretty exciting. So there's enchantments for a lot of the main characters. It's an enchantment called Blank Joins Up. ETBs to do a thing and it does a thing also. This is a Naya 4-mana enchantment, legendary. When it ETBs, deals 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. It's pretty good. Kills Shieldred, kills most things. And then it's a triggered ability doubler for a legendary creature you control. So, Panharmonicon for legends, which is pretty powerful, obviously, too. There are a lot of powerful abilities in a lot of different legends, and that's pretty good, too. And this card is just got a lot of things it can do. I don't know all of them yet. I just know a lot of them are good. It's very, very powerful. There's a bajillion legends already in Standard anyway, and other formats, too. They're everywhere. And when you add this to things like Storm the Festival, which is pretty powerful, too. Yorion can blink this, which is awesome as well. This card could be in multiple spots, which is pretty cool. So, looks like a silly enchantment, commander card, whatever. I'm sure it's a good commander too. But I think this card's got serious potential in multiple formats. Standard, Pioneer, you know, blinking with the Orion. Is the Orion still in Pioneer? Yeah, it is, right? So, you know, Joda in Standard, other various Standard effects, you know, Elishnorn, and yada, yada, yada. And again, the fact that it just, like, it's a Panharmonicon effect, but it does something. It comes into play and it kills a thing, which is great. You know, it's really, really powerful. So, I think this card's great. In Limited, obviously, it's just totally fine if you can cast it, because you just get to kill a thing. But Constructed is the place where I'm very excited for this card. Annie joins up. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Shamona. And moving on to Assimilation Aegis, another mythic rare. This is a Azorius equipment. Whenever it enters the battlefield, exile up to one target creature opponent until this leaves the battlefield. And then as long as it's attached to a creature... Sorry, whenever it becomes attached to a creature, for as long as it is attached to a creature, that creature becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with this. So this is like an O-ring. That's also an equipment. And then you can basically turn your creature into the thing. So the thing about this card is that, like, even if you never equip it, it's still fine, right? It's still just Oblivion Ring. 3 mana, comes into play, exile a thing. It only exiles creatures, I guess, but, like, that's not the worst thing ever. And then if you can put it as an equipment on something, you can steal the creature. That being said, for Commander and, like, big formats, cool. That's pretty cool. You hit their big thing, whatever. For more serious, like, 60-card formats, just kill the creature. Like, just get it out of here, you know? This is a lot of hoops to jump through and a lot of work to do to, like, I kill their 3/3 and just, I'm not going to copy it, you know, whatever. So, overall, a Commander card, like I say over and over and over, going to be set reviews. But yeah, you know, it's cute. I don't know, whatever. At Knife Point, 3 mana for a Rakdos enchantment. It's an uncommon. As long as it's your turn, Outlaws you control have first strike. Of course, the Outlaws are assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks. Whenever you commit a crime, you have to make a mercenary token, which is a common token in the set. And this card's pretty good. I think it's the Signpost uncommon for Rakdos for Limited. This is a great Limited card, obviously. You know, commit a crime, get a token. Commit a crime, get a token. Not hard to commit crimes in this set. And if you get 2 tokens off this, you're stoked, I think. And then any more is gravy. And then giving your things first strike on offense is cool, too. So, fine Limited card. Constructed, probably not. Just a little, not enough material up front, I don't think. But cool Limited card for sure. And definitely plays into the themes of Rakdos. Badlands Revival, 5 mana sorcery, uncommon. It's probably the signpost for Golgari. Return up to 1 creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and return up to 1 target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. This is a Zombify and a Raise Dead for 5, and you know, that's not the most exciting thing ever. There are better Zombifies in the format for Constructed. But for Limited, pretty good. There are a few big cyclers and stuff too, so you can, like, cycle a thing in the graveyard, get it back, yada yada yada, and you know, turn a permanent card. It could be a creature, it could be other things as well. So yeah, I mean, this is, like, you know, obviously a reasonable Limited card. Not very exciting, but if you're doing graveyard stuff, you can do worse. Baron Bertram Graywater. This guy's a douchebag. Orzhov, 4 mana, 3/4 Vampire Noble. Whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, make a 1/1 Vampire Rogue token with lifelink. Triggers only once turn. And then pay 2 mana, sack an artifact creature, and draw a card. This is an uncommon. Little signpost here. Maybe I'm not even sure, honestly. But obviously, you get a Limited card. 3/4 for 4. Makes tokens. Sacks things. Draws cards. Very reasonable. Sacrificing treasures or, you know, whatever other tokens there are. Mercenaries and so on and so forth. Reasonable. Nothing more than a Limited card, but it's fine. Certainly reasonable. Pall, Clearcutter. We got a big rare here. This is a Simic 6 mana 6/5 Giant Scout with Reach. When EDBs create Bow, a legendary blue Ox token with this creature's power on top of this equivalent of the lands you control. Every attack, you draw a card. May put a land card from your hand or graveyard on the battlefield. It's pretty cool to say whenever you attack with anything, not just this, which is very, very important. So you can play it, use it immediately. So you get a 6/5, a 6/6 in theory, and then attack, draw a card, and put a land in. That's pretty good, honestly. Like, that's a lot of material and an immediate card for 6 mana. This card's got a shot and constructed. I think big time. Like, just 2 6/6s. You know, like 2 6/6s and some abilities and reach. Card's good. I think this card's got a shot. Card's pretty awesome. And then, of course, obviously, in limited, his card just busted. So, yeah, 2 huge bodies and an instant trigger. Yeah, bonkers limited card. Solid constructed card. Old Bonnie Pall. Breeches is next. The Blastmaker. As if we haven't seen Breeches recently enough. Is it 3/3 Menace for 3, Goblin Pirate. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, flip a coin. When you win the flip, copy the spell, choose new targets. If you lose the flip, it deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. So, kind of a weird flippy card here, obviously. Lot of things happening here. So you have to cast second spell, want to copy it, but maybe not. Win a flip or lose a flip, sacrifice an artifact. Just like a bajillion hoops. Like, a lot of blue-red things happening here, right? We got second spell, we got second artifact, we got flip a coin, we got deal damage, we got copy things. It's like the ultimate blue-red card. But yeah, overall for constructed, like, I don't think this card really gets there. Just like, not really doing anything ridiculously powerful or consistent. But yeah, obviously a good limited card. But yeah, a lot of words. Very, very wordy card. Bruce Tarl, Roving Rancher. This is a rare 4-mana Boros 4/3. It's a human warrior. Oxen you control have double strike. Whenever it ETBs or attacks, exile top card of your library. If it's a land, make a 2/2 Oxen. Otherwise, you may cast that card to the end of your next turn. Card's pretty good, honestly. So you have a 4/3 ETB, either draw a card or make a 2/2 double striker, and then it just keeps doing that whenever it attacks. Obviously, 3 toughness is, you know, pretty vulnerable in modern day Magic, so definitely not the most durable creature of all time, but get value immediately anyway. Not sure what deck would want this card in 60 card formats, but great limited card, obviously, and I think it's got an outside shot constructed. Not super exciting, but Cactus Sureshot. This is a Gruul 4-mana uncommon 4/4 reach, ward 2. Bandit combat your turn. Other creatures you control power 4 greater gain trample and haste on a turn. Signpost uncommon for red-green. Play creatures power 4 greater. I feel like it's literally always the Gruul mechanic, which is very boring, but this card's obviously very good. You know, a 4/4 reach ward 2 for 4 would be fine. And then this also gives haste to things as well and trample and stuff. So card's pretty wild as far as power level goes on uncommons and limited. So great limited card. Congregation Griff is the green-white signpost uncommon. It's a 1/4 uncommon flying lifelink, which is pretty good. Whenever it attacks while saddled, it gets +X/+X to end of turn, where X is the number of mounts you control. So at least one, obviously, has saddle 3. So this card is kind of weird. It's obviously a limited card, and like it requires a big saddle. Not likely to have that many mounts, but like if you have 1 or 2, if it's like a 3/6 lifelinker, it's pretty insane too. As a 1/4 lifelinker, this card's just like fine anyway, just a decent blocker or attacker. So reasonable card, but like feels like it's not nearly on the power level like the card we just saw, the Gruul card. So it's fine, you know, reasonable limited card, not very exciting. Doc Aurlock, Grizzled Genius. This is a Simic, I assume, signpost uncommon. It's mana for a 2/3. Legendary Bear Druid. It's a bear, it's a 2/3? What are they thinking? Spells you cast from your graveyard or exile cost 2x to cast. Plotting cards from your hand cost 2x to cast. So, kind of a plotty payoff card. Pretty powerful, because a lot of the plot cards are like 3 or 4 mana. That's a pretty major reduction. So, this card's great. I mean, like a 2/3 for 2 with a lot of upside is obviously awesome. So, pretty powerful draft card. For Constructed, honestly, cost reduction in Constructed is a pretty big deal. So, outside shot. If there's like a plot deck in Constructed, this card's going to be the linchpin for sure. But that being said, you know, a bit of a stretch. But Eriette the Beguiler. Ah, yes, Eriette. I missed her. I haven't seen her in like, you know, 6 months. Esper, 4-mana 4/4 with lifelink. So, already phenomenal stats. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to that aura's mana value, and gain control of that permanent for as long as the aura is attached to it. So, obviously, like a commandery build around, it's a really powerful effect. You know, I play random aura on your thing and steal it. That's kind of cool. Hard to build around and construct it, obviously, though. But the thing is that you're just getting a 4/4 lifelink for 4, which is totally fine, too. Regardless, Esper, Enchantment, something, probably kind of a hard constructed deck to build. I'll probably try, though. 10 new brews, maybe we'll see. But cool commander card. Insane and limited if you can cast it because it's just a 4/4 lifelink for 4. Yeah, commander card mostly. Ethrojo, Frontier Mentor. This is the, I assume, Boros Signpost Uncommon. 4 mana for a 2/4 Core Advisor. When ETBs make a mercenary. If you activate an ability that targets a creature or player, copy that ability, you may choose new targets. So this card plays really well with the mercenary tokens. Obviously, you can like put things everywhere, as well as other stuff. This card's good. You know, a 2/4 and a 1/1 for 4 is a very solid rate. The ability's pretty good too. So good solid signpost uncommon for Boros here. We got Former Posse, which is also an uncommon here. I'm not sure if it's a signpost either, but it's not always clear what the signpost is. But if you also don't know what a signpost is, there's usually one uncommon in each color pair to kind of let you know what each color pair is all about. So that when you're drafting, you can see it and go, oh, this color pair cares about tokens or cares about big creatures or whatever. So kind of like a guidepost, if you will. This is Form a Posse. Red, green, X, sorcery, make X mercenaries. That's it. Love it. Man, this is great. This is awesome.
Give me what I want.
No more reading? That's the whole card? There's no more, like, there's nothing else on there? We're good? I can just take a sip of my drink here and enjoy this? All right, cool. That's sweet. So, yeah, make tokens. This card's good. That's it. I'm done. Let's move off. Gehired, Mirror of the Wilds. We have a Naya Mythic 3/3 haste for 3. Non-token creatures you control have tap, create a token that's a copy of target token you control that enter the battlefield this turn. Oh, we're back. All right, we're back. I'm confused again. Non-token creatures you control have tap to create a token that's a copy of target token you control that enter the battlefield this turn. Commander players, figure it out. I'm done. Honest Rutstein. We have a Golgari, 3 mana 3/2. Human Warlock. ETB, Raise Dead. Creature spells cost 1 less. This card's awesome, right? Like, if all this did was ETB Raise Dead, this card would be great. It'd be a great limited card for sure. And then it reduces the cost of all your creatures too. This is a Llanowar Elf and a Gravedigger for 3, and it's also a 3/2. Great card. Phenomenal limited card. Honestly, like, I would say outside shot and constructed. The rate's like that good. Probably not, but great limited card. Really, really cool. Intimidation Campaign. 3 mana 4 and enchantment. ETB. Each opponent loses 1. You gain 1. You draw a card. Important to note, this is each opponent loses 1. Not target opponent. This is not a crime. Whenever you commit a crime, you may return this to its owner's hand and come from the battlefield, obviously. So yeah, this is just disinformation campaign for crimes. Obviously an okay card for limited. Disinformation campaign was a really good limited card. Constructed, way too slow. Doesn't affect the board, and so on and so forth. But yeah, do some value, do some crime. Do some more value. That's what Demir's all about. Signpost uncommon. Yeah, it's a fine card. Gemlight Skyexplorer. 4 mana 4 and 4 mana 4, an uncommon legendary 3/3 flying vigilance. Not quite Sarah Angel. Beginning of your end step. If you haven't cast a spell from your hand this turn, draw a card. So of course, blue white's all about passing the turn, plotting or playing instants and so on and so forth. So this is a reward you for that. 3/3 flying vigilance for 4 is certainly quite solid, so good rate. If it draws you 1 card, you're stoked. That's a good card. Solid card. Good limited card. Jolene, Plundering Puglist. 3 mana for a Gruul 4/2 human mercenary. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures with 4 power, 4 rare to make a treasure, pay 2, sack a treasure, deal 1 damage, anything. Obviously, phenomenal limited card, right? Just, excellent card. 4/2, makes treasures, sacks things. That's it. Oh, man. Freaking uppercut out of the boots. Oh, wow. Woo. It's over. This one's over. Pack it up. All right. So yeah, Jolene's great. Great limited card. Nothing more. Kambal, Profiteering Mayor. Y'all remember Kambal, right? Kambal makes good. Orzhov 3-drop. It's 2/4. Got a little more toughness than last time. Whenever one of our tokens enters the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them, make a tapped token that's a copy of it only once turn. Whenever one of our tokens enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. This card, that's a pretty good effect. So, important to note that the second ability is not limited to only 1. So, it's only 1. So, if I make 5 at once, then it only happens once. If I make a token, then make a token, then make a token, it triggers 3 times, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, like, this card's pretty cool. It's like a payoff for tokens that also has some, like, you know, anti-token stuff going on. Like, it's weird because the front ability is not really the important ability, and it's a longer ability. It's harder to read, so like it doesn't read great. But this is reasonable card for token decks. Kind of a cool card. Maybe a little too low impact, but it's sweet. Good limited card too, obviously. So it's cool. Kellen Joins Up. This is the Kellen entry into this Joins Up cycle. Bant for a legendary enchantment. EDB. You may exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. Of course, plotting means you can play it later for free at any future point as a sorcery. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So there's a lot going on here, right? So the first ability, similar to Jace, allows you to plot small spells. But with cards like Valky or Bramble Familiar, you can plot the small side and then cast the big side the next turn. That's a big deal. That being said, it's still not the fastest thing ever of all time, and there aren't that many cards like that to exploit it with. And then legendary creature pumping your whole team +1/+1 is pretty good, but like you're just playing this enchantment that didn't do anything on turn 3. So like, I don't know, cards got some things going for it, but like hard to cast, doesn't affect the board, has a lot of caveats, not really feeling it, and then limited obviously this card sucks. So yeah, is what it is. Kellen the Kid, Kellen proper. Bant for a 3/3. Human Fairy Rogue, Flying Lifelink. So great stats, obviously. If you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may cast a permanent spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. So if there's a thing that makes plot and good and constructed, it's probably going to be this card. We saw some pretty good plot cards for 2 mana in green. So like, plot a thing on 2 for green. Play this on 3, cast your plot card immediately, cast another card immediately and say go. It's pretty cool, you know, and the buy is obviously reasonable. You know, a lifelinking flyer for 3 is obviously pretty cool. That being said, is that good enough? I don't know. Things that that care about, you know, to give you cards out of your hand into play often don't excite me because they don't actually create resources. They just allow you to deploy the things you already have. So like, I don't know. You know, I think his card is interesting, but I'm not amazed by it either. But again, stats are good. Good limited card because the stats are good anyway. So, we'll see. We'll see. Definitely has potential, though. Cram, Violent Cacophony.
You're saying it wrong.
Is it 4 mana for a 2/3 flyer? Every cast a second spell each turn, put a counter on this and draw a card. Wow. So, great limited card. Starts a little small, but once you get that first trigger, you're off to the races here. So that's pretty insane. You know, 3/4 flyer, draw a card for 4 is pretty awesome. So it requires some plotting or some cheap spells, but this is a great signpost on common, obviously for your draft decks that are blue and red. Laughing Jasper Flint, Rakdos 3 mana 4/3. Jeez. Creatures you control but don't own are mercenaries in addition to their types. Beginning of your upkeep, exile top X cards target opponent's library, or X is the number of outlaws you control. Until end of turn, you may cast spells among those cards, and mana of any type can be spent to cast those spells. So, good sized body, and you recruit outlaws from your opponent's deck. Kind of cool, fun flavor, pretty powerful card. The body is pretty good as well. Constructed wise, like, I don't think this card really plays in constructed that well. Requires you to have outlaws, survive to your upkeep, actually hit a creature in your opponent's deck, and then cast it. You gotta actually spend mana to cast it too. So like, that's a lot of hoops to jump through for a card for constructed. But for limited, this card's insane. Card's obviously really, really good. So yeah, card's cool. Fun little outlaw card. Lazav returns, familiar stranger. Haven't seen Lazav in a long time, right? They're meant for a Demir 1/4 uncommon shapeshifter. Whenever you commit a crime, put a +1/+1 counter on Lazav. Then you may exile a card from a graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, you may have Lazav become a copy of that card on the turn. Triggers once a turn. So this is a weird one because like it makes a crime, but only if you've already done a crime. So like most things that care about crimes can't trigger twice anyway. So like not really a crime enabler, more of a payoff. But adding counters is good. You know, occasionally copying things is kind of cool. Also, exiling might matter too. It's a fine limited card. It's reasonable. Not super exciting or anything, but pretty reasonable. Lila, undefeated slick shot. Is it 3 mana, 3/3 with prowess, which is okay. If you cast a multicolored instant or sorcery spell from your hand, exile that spell instead of putting it in your graveyard as it resolves. If you do, it becomes plotted. So it basically gives a spell rebound for the most part. You don't need to play it the next turn, but you can. So like Lightning Helix and Friends, all kind of cool. But a 3/3 for 3 with prowess that requires you to play multicolored instants to do things is kind of sketchy, honestly. There only are so many good multicolor instants. Now your mana base is kind of rough. It's just like, you know, overall, good limited card. Not very exciting. You make your own luck. This is the Simic Sorcery Uncommon. Look top 3 cards of your library. You may exile a non-land card from among them. If you do, plot it. Put the rest in your hand. So this is basically just draw 3, plot 1. Which is really, really good, actually, right? So, like, you know, drawing 3 cards is great. Playing a spell for free is great. Doing both is great. Obviously, you aren't affecting the board the turn you play this. So it's kind of like a, you know, a pretty big cost. But in Constructed, like, you can plot an Emrakul or an Ulamog or whatever. Just go nuts, you know? Which is pretty powerful if you're playing sort of an all-in deck that can do that. That being said, gotta give a top 3, which is not likely, obviously. So, I don't know. It's a pretty powerful card. But will it do what you want often enough? Not sure. In limited, drawing 3 cards is great. So, like, this card's pretty awesome. So, yeah. Fun card. Crazy card. High variance card, but looks pretty fun. Malcolm the Eyes is next. Malcolm. This card's great. It's meant for a 2/2 flying haste. Phenomenal rate. It's a Siren Pirate. So you got a Pirate synergy also. Cast second spell, Investigate. Love it. Nice, simple card. Good stats, good ability. Plays well with Pirates. Plays well with artifacts. Constructed player for sure. Not for sure, but like good chance of constructed. Great limited card. Card is great. Really, really good. Marchesa, Dealer of Death. I don't know what she's doing here, but she ain't messing around. Grixis 3/4, Human Rogue Rare. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1 mana. If you do, look top 2 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand and the other in your graveyard. You know what Grixis is good at? Frickin' doing crimes, alright? Cut down your creature, play Deep Cavern Bat, Bloodtithe Harvester your creature, Corpse Bracer your graveyard. All Grixis does, counter your spells, is crimes. Every single thing. So, with Marchesa in play, you spend a mana, and you just draw a card, put a card in the bin, and just keep going. Draw a kill spell, kill this thing. Draw a kill spell, kill this thing, right? No limitation on how many times you can do it a turn, only your mana's limitation. Later in the game, you just go nuts, right? And the body is great too. This is a 3/4 for 3, which is a super solid body. So, you know, doesn't die to a lot of common removal spells. This card is great. Grixis is already a thing in standard regardless, or has been in the past, and can be in the future, obviously. Crimes for days. Card's great. Phenomenal limited also. This card's really, really, really good. Doesn't even draw the card for Shieldred too. Love it. Card's great. Marchesa, Dealer of Death. Best in show for Multicolor here in Thunder Junction. Miriam is next, not Ross Miriam. Herd Whisperer, 2 mana for a 3/2 legend. As long as it's your turn, mounts and vehicles have hexproof. Whenever a mount or vehicle attacks, put a counter on it. Obviously, the signpost uncommon for green-white. This is a bonkers limited card, right? 3/2, double upside for 2 mana. Great, great card. Constructed, I would need to look at all the vehicles and mounts in a set and like think if like there might be a playable deck there. This card, it's got the chops for constructed if there is a playable deck. But yeah, stats here off a chart. Obviously great limited card. Slight constructed potential, but we'll see. Obeka, Splitter of Seconds. This is like the darling card of everyone on the internet, right? Grixis 4-mana card. It's a rare. It's 2/5 menace. Whenever it does combat damage to a player, you get that many additional upkeep steps after this phrase. Commander players are all like, wow! I'm not a Commander player, so I just don't, I'm not seeing it, you know? It's obviously cute. Does some pretty fun, weird things. But yeah, overall, constructed-wise, this card is just not very good. You know, a 2/5 it has to hit to do things. It's not exciting. Commander players have a great time. I hope you have the best time ever, and I wish you well. But constructed-wise, this card's kind of meh. In limited, I mean, the body is good enough to just play. And then the ability, pretty hard to matter, honestly. But it might. So, it's reasonable enough, you know. But yeah, have fun. Copy your Paradox Hazes or whatever and have a great time. Oko! Look who's back. Those abs. He's ripped. I don't know his workout plans, but Oko's always working out, you know. But Oko's our trap card. This is not Oko of old, my friends. 4-mana Planeswalker. It's Simic, obviously. Beginning combat on your turn, Oko can become a copy of a creature you control until end of turn, except it has hexproof. So it can die. It's very important to note. Can also take damage. Judge, how does that work with loyalty counters? Because always, all the Gideons were always indestructible. How does that matter? Don't think it matters, actually. I don't know. Judge will talk in chat. But yeah, so I can copy a creature. Oh, I'm sorry. He's not a Planeswalker anymore. Good catch. My bad. So become a creature. Got it. So, can copy creatures, which is weird. Obviously, your Planeswalker copying a creature is very, very bizarre. That is a strange thing to do. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. But, yeah. +1 ability is draw 2, and then discard 2. If you commit a crime, only discard 1. That's okay. But Simic is not exactly known for being a great crime color. So, -1, make a 3/3. Which, this day and age, is pretty bad on a Planeswalker, honestly. And then -5. For each non-land permanent you control, make tokens a copy of it. So it requires you to have things in play also. None of these things excite me literally at all. Not one single mode here is me going, oh wow, this card's great. You know, minusing it down to 2 loyalty to make a 3/3 is just like pretty damn bad. Copying things is weird. You know, Gideon became a 6/6 without any help. It's just a friggin' 6/6 or a 4/4, whatever it was. You know, Soccer became a 4/4. This needs a creature in play to do anything, as far as that goes. Doesn't make card advantage. Doesn't really make good tokens. Doesn't really have a good ultimate. This card just sucks, honestly. And then also the problem is that there's no text here about legends. And like, every creature worth copying is a legend these days anyway. And this will just die to a legend rule. So like, I guess, you know, just not a very exciting card. You know, which is good. Because screw Oko, honestly, whatever. Good riddance. Still good and limited, though, obviously. Pillage the Bog is next. Golgari Sorcery. Look top X cards of your library, where X is twice the number of lands you control. Put 1 in your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Plot 3. So, it's not quite Demonic Tutor, obviously, but it's interesting. Plotting a tutor is pretty sweet. I've always really enjoyed Profane Tutor, the Suspend Demonic Tutor, because being able to decide what you want when all of your mana is open, exactly when you want it, is pretty awesome. Playing Demonic Tutor on turn 2 for something you want to get next turn, when things might change next turn, can be kind of awkward. So Plot plus Tutor does play very well together. But that being said, like, you know, say we plot this, then we play it on turn 4. We're looking at 8 cards in theory. Might not find what we want there, you know. So this is a very, very safe tutor. Tutors are still very, very good, obviously. And this can go pretty deep later in the game. Has really cool art, too. But I think overall this card is pretty eh. Cool design, cool idea. But yeah, and then limited, this card's also not super exciting either. Because like, it's just a lot of mana to just tutor. But yeah, Cool design, cool card, cool art, but I think it misses the mark a little bit. Rakdos Joins Up. Another one of these enchantments, and a very, very good one at that. This is a 5-mana legendary enchantment, ETB, zombify, and put 2 extra counters on it, which is huge. That's a big, big jump, obviously. And then whenever a legendary creature you control dies, this deals damage to that creature's power to target opponent. So I reanimate Atraxa. It's a 9/9. They kill it. They take 9. You know, is that win more? I mean, maybe yes, maybe no. You know, we're already signing in the market for a 5-mana reanimate sometimes anyway. And then, like, you guys reanimate Yargle and Multani, and it makes 20, right? Boom, 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 sack it. But, yeah, so the power here is reasonable for sure. There has to be a deck that wants it, but, like, reanimating a Tali, reanimating a Traxa, all pretty awesome. Card's pretty powerful. If your opponent can't exile what you get back, might be in trouble. They might lose anyway, because you already have an Atraxa or an Tali going off. But in a big slugfest kind of matchup, maybe they won't. Honestly. So, card's pretty powerful. Like it a lot. Great and limited, too, because the size bonus is so big, too. So, pretty cool, honestly. Powerful card. I think this is one of the best reanimation effects in Standard right now. And that's not a bad place to be, honestly. Rakdos the Muscle. Rakdos proper. We have 5 mana for a Rakdos, 6/5 flying trample. Decent stats. When you sacrifice another creature, exile cards equal to its mana value from the top of your library. Sorry, from top of target player's library. Till end of your next end step, you may play those cards and pay them for any color. Sack a creature, and this becomes indestructible. Tap it once a turn. So, this is a pretty powerful card. It's pretty hard to kill. You can steal stuff from your opponent, or get card advantage, which is kind of cool as well. Makes crime. Protects itself. That being said, like, 5 mana is a lot. I don't know what deck wants this exactly, but, like, if this is a top end for a mercenary, that could be a reasonable card for sure. It's got numbers, and it does a lot of good things, you know. I don't know where it goes. This card is pretty powerful. And then limited, this card's, like, unbeatable. Just, like, completely unbeatable. Like, good luck beating this card ever, you know. But Constructed, I think it's got a chance. It's a pretty cool card. Up next is Riku of Many Paths. This is a Teamer 3/3 human wizard. If you cast a modal spell, spree cards perhaps, choose up to X, where X is the number of times you chose a move for that spell. So exile top card library, you may play it until the end of your next turn. Put a counter on this against trample, and make a bird. So, as you modal, you get to modal your modal. Is that good? Probably not, but it's cool, I guess. Fun commander build around, I suppose. But yeah. Roxanne! Starfall Savant. This is a 5-mana Gruul rare. It's a 4/3. When it EDBs or attacks, make a tapped colorless artifact token named Meteorite. When this ETBs, deals 2 damage to any target and taps for mana of any color. Or you tap an artifact token for mana, add 1 mana and type the artifact produced. So, this is a pretty powerful card, right? This can double all your treasures, double all your mana rocks. It comes into play dealing 2 to something, which can obviously kill a creature, make a mana rock, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what deck wants this card, but it's a bomb and limited. And then for constructed, I mean, I can imagine like some sort of like treasure deck wanting this card. Kind of a cool card. You know, meteorites aren't bad, and then obviously you make more meteorites when you attack. Also, maybe you can blink it. Card's cool. I like it. Weird card, but you know, it's like a weird like Goldspan Dragon sort of like FTK hybrid kind of card. But Goldspan's great, so is FTK. So kind of a cool card. Up next is Ruthless Lawbringer. This is a Orzhov 3-mana uncommon 3/2. When it ETBs, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target online permanent. Card's good. You know, this is just like your pretty good like sack fodder kind of card. Playing tokens, sack a token, kill something. You know, in the same spaces like Rite of Oblivion and stuff. Playable and constructive for that reason, I think. Great limited card. Just good solid card. Next up is Satoru the Infiltrator. This is a 2-mana 2/3 menace. Legendary human ninja rogue. When it or one or more non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if none of them was cast or no mana was meant to cast them, draw a card. This is like a ninja commander card in the freaking set, right? What is this? Like, so it obviously works with plot, but like it's meant to work with ninjas clearly. So plot a thing, draw a card. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, this card's obviously like a great rare for limited. For constructed, you know, one or more I mean, pretty dope with Ornithopter, right? Ornithopter, Evoke Elementals. I mean, this card does stuff for sure. You know, like you unearth things or whatever, can invoke things out. That being said, like being locked to blue-black turns off a lot of those. But yeah, I mean, this could be a card that's played at multiple formats actually, because like as you saw with Up the Beanstalk, just like, you know, play this thing, grief, draw a card. Cool. You know? So, like, if you're beanstalking off of stuff like that, that's pretty busted. So, might be insane, actually. Yeah, I mean, like, for standard and, like, Pioneer, more recent formats, probably not really that much of a thing. But, like, Modern, this might be a dumb card. Yeah. I don't know. Just such a it feels like a Modern Horizons card. You know, it's just sort of weird card to have in the set. But, I don't know. Yeah, so, I mean, like, card seems pretty good. You know, limited card seems great. Yeah, this card's good. Selvala, Eager Trailblazer. This is a mythic rare, Selesnya 4-mana 4/5. It's got vigilance. When you cast a creature spell, make a mercenary. It's quite good. Then tap, choose a color, add 1 mana of that color for each different power among creatures you control. So, obviously, your mercenaries can control the power, which is kind of cool. This is a big mana dork with a decent sized body and pretty good ability. This card's pretty good, honestly. Like, making a mercenary for each creature is pretty awesome. And if you untap with this thing, you just get like +5 mana or whatever, +4 mana or something like that too. So, card's pretty good. I don't know if I would want this card, realistically. Like, it's just a kind of a weird, you know, commander card, I guess, you know? But does decent things. Yeah, probably not like a card for constructed. Obviously great and limited too. So, Next up is Seraphic Steed. This is a Selesnya 2-drop 2/2. First strike lifelink. Good combination of abilities. Whenever it attacks while saddled, make a 3/3 white angel token with flying. Wow. That's pretty sweet. So it's just a 2/2 lifelink, first strike for 2. Saddle 4, get in there, make an angel. It's pretty good. There's plenty of big idiots in green and white, right? Making an angel, you make one angel of this thing, you're pretty stoked too. Yeah, this card's pretty sweet, honestly. I don't know what you would ever play it in, but it has decent numbers on it for sure. You know, four is a lot. Like 4 is a lot more than 3 for sure. If it was 3, this card is probably excellent, and then it just plays really well like the Angels deck in Pioneer. But at 4 is like, But yeah, I mean this card's pretty sweet. Definitely, the numbers are there. Great limited card too. Just busted limited card. Just like busted. But yeah, it's cool. Cool art too. Very, very what was that, like Lisa Frank folders or whatever, something like that. So Slick Sequence. This is a it 2-mana instant. Shock a thing. If you've cast another spell this turn, draw a card. Love this card. Great is it card. Super clean. Shock, draw a card. Play 2 spells in a turn. Easy game. I think this card is playable and constructed. Card's really, really cool. Great limited card also. Constructed, like, I don't know if 2 damage is enough for this card, but it's pretty sweet, honestly. And even if you're just, like, playing a, kind of like an aggro blue-red deck, just, like, Nuggy for 2, draw a card, it's fine, right? So, card's cool, like it a lot, great design. Electrolyze for a modern day. Love it. Tai Joaquin. Perfect Shot. Boros 2-drop rare, it's 2/3. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to a creature equal to that creature's toughness, draw a card. I love this design. This is great. So if your removal spell is the perfect shot, right? Not shotgunning a bunny or what's wrong with you, Jim? You know, not using a bazooka on a squirrel or not using a BB gun on a bear or something like that. If your shot is perfect, you draw a card. That's cool. I like that a lot. That's really evocative. Great name, great design, great ability, really, really cool. Has tap X and tap. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player of his turn, it instead deals that much damage plus X. So this can make the shot perfect. That's kind of cool. So you can, like, they have a 4/4. shock it, but then pay 2 and make it a little more, so it finds the perfect shot too. I like this card. I don't know how good this card is, but I like it. This is a really well-designed card. Really fun. It tells a story. It's evocative. Has a cool name. This is a cool Magic card. Obviously great and limited, obviously. I keep saying obviously. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired. But, yeah, this card's really cool. I just think it's neat. Exactly. The Gitrog, Ravenous Ride, Golgari, 5 mana, 6/5, Trample Haste. So pretty good stats, obviously. Has Saddle 1. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a creature if it's saddled at its turn. If you do, draw X and put X lands from your hand to the battlefield tapped, or X is sacrifice creature's power. This card is... It seems ridiculous. Like, you know, it's probably not as good as it looks, but like... A 6/5 Trample Haste for 5 is just like fine, you know? And you just saddle it up with a freaking 3/3 or whatever, some like expendable creature, and just like draw 3 and put some lands into play. That's pretty insane, right? You know, plays well with Mosswood Dread Knight, plays well with Tenacious Underdog, other various recursive creatures, even the new Skeleton recurs also. And like, if you sack a 4/4, you draw 4. It's not like you're losing that much of your board, you know, so is the plot 3-drop at ramps. Yeah, that card's cool too. This card might be sweet. I feel like most Gitrogs look cool, don't play well, but this one's pretty good. This is pretty cool. Obviously, have beating and limited too. Just like turn your crappy 2/2 into 2 cards. Also, it's huge. The card's pretty sweet. Alright, up next is Vile Smasher, Gleeful Grenader. We got a 2 mana, 3/2 Goblin Mercenary uncommon. The stats these days are ridiculous. Whenever another outlaw EDPs under your control, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. Crime! Crime pays, folks. This is a great crime enabler. It's a great cheap creature. It's a great outlaw enabler. This card is excellent. If there's an outlaw deck in Standard, this card's in it for sure. Makes crimes everywhere. It's a legend. Plays well with the Tiny Bones enchantment. And then in Limited, this card's also excellent. The card's good. It's a really good card. It's a goblin too. It's kind of fun. Yeah. Vile Smash is back. It's great. Vraska joins up. This is Vraska's entry into the party. Golgari, 2 mana legendary enchantment. When it EDBs, put a death touch counter on each creature you control. Whenever a legendary creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Kind of a weird one, because, like, it's cheap, but you want to play it later. But, like, is it even, like, that impactful? You know, maybe. If you're playing all legends, do you need to draw some extra cards? I don't know, maybe not. So, like, this card's kind of meh. Obviously, in Limited, I guess giving death touch counters, I don't think it's worth a card, honestly. So, there obviously are, like, good caveats with, like, does your creature deal damage? Is it a first striker? Yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, overall, not that impressive, I don't think. If you're hitting with multiple legendaries, you know, you're probably winning anyway, kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a dud. Vraska of a Silencer is here to ask me why I think her card is bad. I just don't think it's good, Vraska. I'm sorry. 3 mana for a 3/3, Death Touch, obviously. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, you may pay 1 if you do. Return that card to the battlefield tapped under your control. It's a treasure with tap, sacrifice, make a mana, obviously, and loses all other card types. So, this is a weird card, right? You you terminate their Sheoldred, you pay 1, and now you have a treasure in play that has the Sheoldred ability. And that's cool, but is it good? You know, like, how does this card compare alongside, not Nissa, the other one, Glissa, you know, like, as far as legendary 3-drops goes. So, you do get ETB effects, you do get effects, it just tax all of your removal spells by 1. When you play it, it doesn't do anything immediately, you know, just like a 3/3, it just kind of sits there. So, I don't know, this card's kind of cool, but, again, feels more cool than good. Great limited card, like, really, really good limited card, obviously. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, and the thing is that it's also just not going to be that exciting to return, like, you know, whatever 3/3 creature has no abilities on it as a treasure. I guess you can ramp a little bit too, but, I don't know. Not thrilled. It's obviously fine. Wouldn't be surprised if it shows up, but yeah, great limited card, obviously. Obviously. I keep saying obviously. I'm sorry. Rancor of Damned. We have a Azorius 5 mana 1/4. This card better be good. That's not a good stat line. Human Soldier Flash. Beginning of your end step. If you haven't cast a spell from your hand this turn, make a 2/2 flyer. That's pretty good. So, of course, Signpost Uncommon for blue-white. All about saying go with mana up, and that's a great payoff for it. 2/2 flyers are a real deal. That's a very real card, too. So, you can, like, end step this, and then say go, and then end step another one or whatever, make a token. So, pretty good card. It is clunky. 5 mana is a lot. But if you have the right deck for it, card seems good. But otherwise not that exciting. Wily Duke. Selesnya 3 mana 4/2 with Vigilance. Becomes tapped, gain a life, draw a card. Obviously a fun card because it's a little puzzle. It has Vigilance. How do you tap it? Obviously we can crew with it. Or we can Convoke with it, which is kind of cool too. If there's a mount deck, this card's in it. You know, is that good? I don't know. I feel like it'd be better if it was a 3/3 or a 2/4. Honestly, the 4/2 stat line is like pretty weak to stuff. It can crew that other card, the Unicorn we were talking about. So there's a 1/2 punch that might be a thing. But probably not good enough for serious constructed play. But still, pretty cool card. And then great limited card too. Enough mount stuff in green-white to tap it reliably. Good stat line anyway. Could be a cool card for like historic Convoke deck as well. Deck was sweet. So, yeah, cool card. Fun little puzzle. I like this card a lot, too, because, like, this is a nice, simple puzzle. It's a cool magic card. It has an ability. That is really good, but doesn't work with the ability. So how do you figure out how to use it? Not a million words, just simple, puzzle, elegant. I like it. Luch, the key to everything. What in God's name is this? So we're in the vault, or the big scorecards. This is the bonus sheet. Again, these are legal in standard. However, they are they're only in some booster packs. Or like one every 5 packs. It's weird, whatever. This is a 3 mana Teamer 1/2 with Ward 1. Beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of card types among other non-land permanents you control. You may play those cards this turn. So weird card draw thing with very bad stats that wants you to have stuff in play, but is limited by the fact that, like, say I have 6 permanents in play of different types. I exile 6 cards. I can't play them all. You know, it's only this turn. So, like, I don't know. I think it's pretty bad. Good limited card, obviously, because, like, it just draws cards or whatever. But as far as constructed goes, like, it's hard to cast, it's small, and the ceiling is kind of low. So I'm not really about it. Pest Control, however, I am about. Holy hell. What a sideboard card. Black-white sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents mana value 1 or less. Convoke, tokens, bloods, treasures, clues, 1-drops, all gone.
Get off my plane.
And it's even got cycling, just in case, you know, you don't need it for some reason or you want to main deck it. This is one of the most brutal sideboard cards printed in quite a while, honestly. This is nasty. You know, this is like, you know, temporary lockdown. I guess like up a notch, down a notch. It's better in some places and worse in some places, but still, really powerful card. We'll see play in a bunch of different formats. Also the kind of card that gets better as you go backwards. So like Legacy, Vintage card can see play also. Yeah, wild card. Crazy sideboard card. Unplayable, unlimited. I guess not if you like are scared of tokens and can cycle it or whatever. But yeah, crazy sideboard card. Only caveat here is it's hard to cast. Must be Orzhov. So it's a little bit going on there. But yeah. And that's it for Multicolor. Holy hell, a lot of cards. We got Best in Show is Marchesa, Dealer of Death. Our sleeper cards, Annie Joins Up. And our trap card is Oko. There is no Bombin Common because there are no commons in Multicolor. We got more to do. Call us coming up next. YouTube folks, love you. Like, comment, subscribe. You're all great. Let's freaking keep going here and keep it rolling. I'm going to keep pointing while you keep hitting the like button. All right, let's go.